trait. Well, there may be exceptions. Piped music is big business in Britain today. This one company alone has £1 million worth of contracts to supply music 24 hours a day. On 8-hour tapes, which automatically change over when completed, more than 1,000 shops, hotels, pubs, restaurants and factories receive a carefully worked out music plan costing from £13 to £300 a month. It all began back in the 30s when two industrial psychologists measured the effect of music on productivity and found it certainly helped output. Music While You Work was born. But the tempo must be just right. This sort of music would not help to send up the rate of production at all. All right for thinking of the boyfriend, of course, but calculated to take years off the foreman's life. This would be just as bad. With music of this tempo, you might get a remarkable rise in output, but think of all the holidays you'd need to recuperate after all that effort. No, the music must suit the occasion and the mood. Bright and cheerful for shopping and thinking out prices. Bright and cheerful to take your mind off the bill. Even at the hairdressers, there's music to go with the perm. If you're not musically minded, you can take refuge under the dryer. Europe is following America and Russia on the way to the stars. And here's the rocket designed to give her the first big punch into space. A British rocket with a famous name, Blue Streak. Not so long ago, the work of the dedicated teams of scientists and engineers who made her was top secret. Then she was a missile, a weapon. Today, she's a booster for a space vehicle with a peaceful mission. Many of Britain's best technicians have helped to make her. This is her fuel tank, 46 feet long. Those stainless steel walls are almost as thin as a razor blade, and they hold 60 tons of liquid oxygen and 26 tons of kerosene. After the tank has been made, it's filled with gas to stop it from buckling. During flight, these engines develop more than 135 tons of thrust, equal to the power of 40,000 family cars. They've got to punch Blue Streak's full weight of 92 tons to a speed of 8,500 miles an hour. The countdown has begun. The control team is ready, in a blockhouse nearly a quarter of a mile from where Blue Streak stands. Temperatures, pressures, stresses, vibration, the flow of fuel, all are recorded as the hours, the minutes, the seconds leave the team with the moment of truth. Between Blue Streak and a real takeoff now are just 4 steel bolts. Blue Streak's days in Cumberland are numbered. One day she'll fly. One day she'll help put a 1-ton satellite in orbit, or a 100-pound European electronic reporter on the moon itself. Willis Tucker is a schoolteacher in Great Hanwood, a village near Shrewsbury. Her husband, Lawrence, is a flight safety observer in a navigation school. They are both members of a society called the English Westerners, which makes a study of cowboys and Indians in the Old West. When the working day is over, the Tuckers go home and don the costumes and war paint and the characters of two members of the Sioux Red Indian tribe. Getting ready takes quite a time. Now for the finishing touches. On goes the chief's war bonnet, and Harsharpa and Punakamita, that's Black Panther and Pony in the Smoke to you, sit down to smoke the pipe of peace. Cameras are recording part of a change in Britain. Today, our surroundings, our social life, our amusements are changing. And this game is a spectacular expression of that change. It's only 4 years since it was introduced publicly into Britain, yet already it's a national sport. It's one of the few in the world where equality between the sexes is absolute, unless you count dance and shove halfpenny. In 1 year, 10 million games have been played by men, women and children. In the mixed leagues, women champions are now emerging to challenge the men. Not superior strength or staying power, but personal skill is what sends all those 10 pins flying. Southend has a big new bowling centre right on its famous pier, with views all round of the sea and shoreline. Already, there are 70 major bowling centres in Britain, and within another 3 years, at the present rate of growth, there'll be more than 200. The bowling centres are searching out those places where people have to wait around. Several big terminals, such as London Airport, already have a bowl for the traveller between planes, the local housewives, and working girls coming off duty like these ground hostesses. Skyport fields one of the best teams in the country. It's a game well suited to keeping one in good shape. Another reason for the astonishing spread of this new sport is that it arrived in Britain fully grown and highly organised. Now everything is automated to pamper the customer. Electronic machinery counts the number of games played. It sweeps the fallen pins clear, resets those left standing, and returns the ball to your hand with the smoothness and care of a well-trained slave. It dries your palm if it's moist, and it even polishes the bowling lanes all on its own. In Britain, there are more than 100,000 ardent jazz fans who buy millions of jazz records every year and often travel hundreds of miles to listen to their favourite jazz group. At this 3-day outdoor festival at Cleethorpes, Lincolnshire, 12 top-line bands played to 16,000 people. This worldwide beat of jazz can be cool or hot, trad or modern, but essentially it's emotional. A music that has to be felt, almost to be lived, to be really enjoyed. Maybe the early influence of religious music on jazz accounts for this. Cleethorpes found their jazz festival so popular, with people coming from places as far apart as Cornwall and Inverness, that it's now a standing date on the resort's calendar, August Bank Holiday. The word jazz is believed to come from the American Negro word jazzbo, or shuffle dance. And at the 1,200 jazz clubs throughout Britain, fans either just listen to the music or dance to it. But most important, jazz is informal. It's an atmosphere created by music which affects people in different ways. Some people, of course, hate it, but it can't be ignored. Humphrey Littleton, a doyen of post-war British jazzmen, started playing the trumpet at Eton, where he was at school. Today, Eton has its own jazz group, while for many fans, Humph is the greatest. Groups of youngsters like these have teamed together with one ambition: to top the hit parade.
You may be dizzy, Miss Lizzie, the way you rock and roll.
The Cavern at Liverpool. This has been the springboard to fame for many groups.
Come on, Miss Lizzie, now love me for I go to.
In Liverpool, there are now more than 300 groups. Not many of them will realize all their ambitions. But here's one group that has broken through the show business barrier, soaring into the hit parade, the Swinging Blue Jeans.
For goodness sake, I got the hippie shakes. Yeah, I got the shakes. I got the hippie shakes.
It's not only Liverpool. In London and all over the country, there are clubs and ballrooms where the youngsters can do what they like, dress as they like, dance as they like. Some estimates put the total number of beat groups at more than 25,000, all producing the sort of sound that has revolutionized the music industry. It's strange that in this modern form of dancing, it's usually the girls that like to dance, the boys to watch.
Sweet, you got everything. I'm gonna your baby. Yeah, baby. Ooh, oh, baby. Have me some fun tonight. Well, I saw Rocky John, Ballhead Sally, Down Mary coming and you're in the alley, oh, baby. Yeah, baby. Ooh, oh, baby. Have me some fun tonight. Ah!
With music of this tempo, you might get a remarkable rise in output, but think of all the holidays you'd need to recuperate after all that effort. Must be just right. This sort of music would not help to send up the rate of production at all. All right for thinking of the boyfriend, of course, but calculated to take years off the foreman's life. This would be just as bad. It all began back in the 30s, when two industrial psychologists measured the effect of music on productivity and found it certainly helped output. Music While You Work was born. But the tempo must... On 8-hour tapes, which automatically change over when completed, more than 1,000 shops, hotels, pubs, restaurants and factories receive a carefully worked out music plan costing from £13 to £300 a month. Trait. Well, there may be exceptions. Piped music is big business in Britain today. This one company alone has £1 million worth of contracts to supply music 24 hours a day.